yellow, blue, red, orange, purple, green, and all the other colors. Hi! So my name is Mikey Tarts, and you've probably seen my videos regarding my Project 13x62, where I am running a half marathon in every county in New York State. You probably see me document the runs that I've been going on otherwise.
Are you filming?
I'm on my way.
Video?
Yes, I am filming your
totally
video.
watched your video of last course.
I wanted to answer a few questions that often come up from my friends, family, coworkers, other viewers. It might be a good opportunity to get some of these answers in one concise little area here. So we're going to be going into a section where I'm talking about how I prepare for the race, how I train, and my nutrition and all of that. I am not a certified trainer, and I am by no means a nutritionist. So anything that comes out of my mouth is merely what has worked for me, and it may or may not work for you. It is not a recommendation. It is just an anecdote. Please consult with the appropriate professionals before changing your training or diet plans. Thank you. Let's get some questions answered, and away we go. What inspired me to start running? Many years ago, I lost a lot of weight involuntarily, and that's a subject for another video, and figured that I would maintain this weight loss by going to a gym. A coworker recommended to me an app which promises to get you off the couch and into running a 5K. I ran my first 5K in 2016, and in 2018 I ran my first marathon, and now it's 2025 by the date that I am recording this. Do you ever listen to music or podcasts while running? It depends. I typically do not, if only because I want to be more in touch with my surroundings so I can hear bikers or cars coming up behind me. That being said, when I'm on the treadmill and I'm in the zone, I do have music to help me keep pace and help keep me interested and distracted, so I'm not staring at the same TV channel for hours on end. What's the weirdest or funniest thing you've seen during a race? My first ever 5K was the New York City Cupcake Run. The concept was that you have to run a 5K and there are 3 stations upon which you must stop and consume a cupcake before continuing. It's a defunct run now, but its sister run, the New York City Pizza Run, is still alive and kicking annually. And I nearly forgot to mention the Brooklyn Queens Brewery Express, an unsanctioned half marathon in New York City that starts when a light turns red at an intersection and somebody throws a smoke bomb. Do not try that at home. Kind of ironic, no? What do you eat before a half marathon? It typically depends. Sometimes if I'm doing a half marathon and it's more of a laid back pace, I eat pretty much whatever I feel like. I would have a lot of bread, such as bagels, granola, so forth. Though if it is a longer distance run or a longer training run, I would stock up on a lot of bread 2 days before, because that's how long I feel it takes for it to get into my system and to not feel bloated on race day. How do you stay hydrated on long runs? Well, for some of my long runs, I will have my water bottle handy, such as if I'm on the treadmill. But if I'm on the streets, I would have a 14 or 20 fluid ounce container that I'm holding in my hands. For the 20 miler run that I did along the old Croton Aqueduct, I packed the 20 ounce container and the 14 ounce container full of water in a backpack and carried that along with me. But typically, that's about as much as I would do. Do you use energy gels or snacks during the race? I would perhaps take an energy gel. It's about 100 calories every 4 or 5 miles or so, whatever corresponds to a water stop along the race. In terms of other snacks, I always have this fear I am going to have a tough time getting it down. Do you use any specific gadgets or apps while running? I primarily use my
smartwatch,
and I have a
GPS
that would accompany me on my other wrist for some of my long runs, if only because the
GPS
would help me with my accuracy, and my
smartwatch
has a cellular connection, so heaven forbid something happened to me, at least I have a way to contact emergency services. What is your go-to outfit for race day? Typically, it would be a singlet with a hat, glasses that have a transitions effect so that the sunnier it is, the darker the lens gets. Sometimes I'd be wearing gloves, typically half tights, and I have a pair of running shoes that work best for me. Nothing too chaotic or weird. What about injuries and chafing? You know, for some reason I get a lot of questions about this. Things I've done in the past included using liquid bandage, though with sweat it wore away, using regular bandage or tape, though it was difficult and slightly painful to remove. What I have found are low adhesive button-like pasties, if you will, that are about 2 centimeters in diameter, about 1 inch in diameter. They are low adhesive enough so they're easy to remove, but they are high adhesive enough so that sweat doesn't bother them, and I've not had a problem since. With regards to chafing in other areas, I use my long runs in training to find and mix and match what works for me. Usually some tighter synthetic fiber. I've not really had too much of a problem since finding that right outfit. How long does it take to train for a half marathon? For me, I can get out of bed and just do a 13-mile run if I feel that I have enough energy. I don't have to do any specific training for it. For a marathon, it probably would take me about 12 weeks or so to ramp up and then taper back down. What's your favorite training plan or strategy? Again, I'm not a certified trainer, but this is what works for me. Please consult a professional. I try to aim my longest run of a week to be longer than the longest one 2 weeks prior. So I'm zigzagging upwards. The idea there is that I'm building slowly a stair step of endurance. Once I hit about 20 to 22 miles in that stair stepping, I would come back down 4 weeks prior to the marathon. Your mileage may vary. No pun intended. How do you recover after a race? I generally try to keep on my feet for a bit. Don't like massages or massage guns because I find that they hurt. If it's a marathon, I'll stay on my feet. Maybe I'll drink a lot of water. I'll have some soda just to kind of get some effervescence in my body. The longer my run, the lighter I would eat afterwards. It's just what my body tolerates in terms of food. What's your favorite half marathon you've ever run? I am partial to the New York City runs, NYC runs, Big Apple half marathon, as in 2017, that was the site of my first ever half marathon race. On race day, I remember doing 11 miles of continuous running, which at the time was the longest continuous running I've done. My legs were so ouchy after that race. So tired, I was barely able to get in and out of a car. Of course, I have a certain affinity to the New York City Cupcake Run, though that's defunct, or at least it was defunct as of 2020. How do you stay motivated during long runs? That's a toughie, especially because I mentioned how I do not listen to music. It's my meditation time, it's my me time. Or simply I would just daydream about being in the Eurovision Song Contest. Yeah. How do you deal with nerves or anxiety before a race? I plan to get to the start areas as early as I can, even if it means me sitting around doing nothing, because at least I'm there. What I then focus on if my anxiety is building is how I've trained for this race. Maybe I've done this distance many times before. There's so much consistency that I can look into and look forward to that if something derails me, then I at least have other things to keep me centered. Keeping those things in mind of everything that I've done right to prepare helps me overcome any difficulties for a race where some unexpected variables come into play. Trust your preparation. All right, so that was a big slew of questions regarding how I prepare for races and what I do to keep myself ready to go. Hopefully this helps answer some questions about the other videos that you have seen. And as always, you can leave more questions in the doobly-doo, and I'll try my best to answer them in a future video. Coming up, I have a few exciting races. March is going to be a very busy month on the roads. And I got some news for something that I'm going to be up to later this year in August. So exciting year, exciting things to come. Thank you for your support as always, and I will see you soonsies. Soonsies? Who says soonsies? I guess it's the energy gels.